The alien king taunted the human over his barren daughter. Then the heir emerged. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with delegates from across the stars. Ambassador Marcus Chen stood in the center, ready to discuss an important trade agreement. He wore his formal Earth uniform, dark blue with silver stars on the shoulders. King Thorvax of Valoria sat on his floating throne. He was massive, with 4 strong arms and scales that changed colors. Right now, his scales showed deep purple. Marcus knew that meant the king felt superior to everyone around him. The Valorian Empire controlled the richest mining areas in 3 star systems. Earth needed access to those resources desperately. That was why Marcus had traveled so far from home. Ambassador Chen, King Thorvax's voice boomed through the hall. Before we talk about trade, I want to know something personal about you. She is 23 years old. Marcus smiled when he talked about her. Thorvax's scales changed from purple to bright orange. Marcus had studied Valorian culture. Orange meant the king was amused, maybe even mocking. Only one child, Thorvax asked, and she is 23. Tell me, does this daughter have children of her own? The sound was loud and harsh, like rocks grinding together. His entire court of Valorian nobles joined in. Their scales all turned orange at the same time. Barren, Thorvax announced to everyone in the chamber. The human ambassador's daughter is barren. She has no children at her age. The Thexian ambassador, an old being with silver tentacles, looked sad for Marcus. On Valoria, the king continued, a woman her age would have several children by now. We value legacy above all things. Strength means nothing without heirs to carry on your name. Your daughter represents everything wrong with humanity. You are too soft, too weak to even continue your own species properly. King Thorvax was trying to make Marcus look weak before negotiations even started. If Marcus appeared weak, Earth would get a bad deal. No wonder your species needed help when you first came to the stars, Thorvax added. You cannot even handle the most basic task of any civilization, creating the next generation. She had always been different from other children. While others played games, she read books about alien species. While others worried about popularity, she worried about curing diseases. Some relatives on Earth had criticized her too. They said she should get married and have babies. They said her research was a waste of time, but Marcus had always supported her choices. Your Majesty, Marcus said quietly, I understand Valorian culture values legacy, but I ask you to respect human culture as well. My daughter's worth is not measured by, if she even can. I will return to Earth and discuss this with my government. Without this trade agreement, human colonies on the outer planets would struggle. They needed the minerals that only Valoria could provide easily. Marcus reached his small shuttle in the docking bay. He sat in the pilot's seat for a long moment before starting the engines. His hands shook slightly as he prepared for departure. Through the window, he could see the massive Galactic Council station. It looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly in space. Ships from 100 different worlds came and went constantly. Once his shuttle was away from the station, Marcus activated his private communication system. He needed to talk to someone who would understand. Sarah, he spoke into the communicator. Sweetheart, it's Dad. Something happened today at the council meeting. I need to talk to you about it. You look upset. What's wrong? Her voice was full of concern. Marcus took another deep breath. King Thorvax asked about you, about whether you have children, and when I said no, he called you Barren, in front of the entire Galactic Council. For a moment she looked hurt. Then something else came into her eyes, something that looked almost like amusement. Dad, she said slowly, we need to talk. I have something important to tell you. Marcus stayed at the Galactic Council station, trying to find another way to help Earth. He sent reports home, but the news was not good. Then one morning, Marcus received an urgent message. It was from Sarah. She was coming to the council station on her research ship. She said she had important news that could not wait. Marcus felt worried. Sarah never left her research lab unless something serious was happening. He went to the docking bay to meet her ship. When Sarah's small research vessel arrived, Marcus was waiting. The door opened and Sarah stepped out. She looked tired but also happy in a way Marcus had not seen in years. Behind her came Dr. Kellen, her research partner. Dr. Kellen was a Thexian, with silver tentacles and gentle eyes. Marcus had met him before through video calls. Kellen had worked with Sarah for 3 years on medical research projects. "Dad," Sarah hugged Marcus tightly, "we need to talk privately, right now." Something important was definitely happening. They went to Marcus's private quarters on the station. Sarah sat down and took both of her father's hands in hers. Kellen stood beside her, his tentacles moving in a calm, peaceful pattern. "Dad, I heard what King Thorvax said about me," Sarah began. "Dr. Kellen told me everything. The Thexians have very good information networks across the galaxy. He had no right to say those things about you." "Waiting for what?" "We wanted to be sure everything was right before telling anyone. Only 3 have ever been born in all of history. The Thexians consider it a sacred blessing. It means 2 species have achieved perfect harmony. Ambassador Chen, your daughter has done something amazing. She has connected 2 species through love and science. The Thexian High Council is already planning a huge celebration." "Because cross-species pregnancies are very delicate," Sarah explained. "We needed to be certain the baby was healthy. We are past the dangerous stage now. Everything is going well. The baby will be born in 5 months." Then he started to laugh. Not a mean laugh like Thorvax, but a laugh of pure joy and relief. "Does the council know yet?" he asked. "The Thexians know," Kellen answered. "We are making a formal announcement tomorrow at the council session. This is a historic moment for both our species. I am so proud of you, both of you. You followed your own path and look what happened." Tomorrow, everyone would know the truth. The next morning, the Galactic Council chamber was completely full. Word had spread that the Thexians were making an important announcement. The Thexians rarely called special sessions, so everyone was curious. King Thorvax sat on his throne. His scales showed bored yellow. He barely looked at Marcus when the human ambassador entered the chamber. The Thexian High Speaker, an ancient being named Velora, moved to the center of the room. When she spoke, her words filled everyone's mind through telepathy. "Honored delegates," Velora's voice was gentle but powerful. "We gather today to celebrate something rare and wonderful. 4 months ago, one of our finest scientists, Dr. Kellen, bonded with a human scientist, Dr. Sarah Chen. Today, we announce that Dr. Sarah Chen carries the 4th Thexian-human hybrid child ever conceived. Cross-species children were extremely rare. Most species considered them sacred." Marcus watched King Thorvax. The Valorian king's scales flickered through many colors quickly, yellow to orange to brown. He looked confused and surprised. Velora continued speaking. "The Thexian people honor Dr. Sarah Chen with the title of Bridge Bearer. She represents the highest achievement between species, creating new life through perfect harmony of body, heart, and mind." Sarah wore special Thexian ceremonial robes that shimmered with silver and blue colors. They had been adjusted to fit her human body. Marcus felt his heart swell with pride as his daughter addressed the entire Galactic Council. "I chose to dedicate my life to understanding other species," Sarah said clearly. "I wanted to build bridges between different peoples. My child will be living proof that we can create something beautiful when we work together. Unprecedented, the child will be." Even species that rarely showed emotion were expressing joy and approval. Marcus looked at King Thorvax again. The proud Valorian king's scales had turned pale gray. Marcus knew that color well now. It was the Valorian color of shame. The celebration in the council chamber continued for hours. Delegates from many different species came forward to congratulate Sarah and Kellen. They brought gifts and blessings according to their various traditions. The Kryn brought singing crystals that would help the baby sleep. The Morphians offered healing herbs from their homeworld. Even the usually serious Drachner delegates presented a beautiful star map showing both Earth and Thexia. Marcus stood to the side, watching his daughter receive all this honor. Just 3 weeks ago, Thorvax had used her as an example of human weakness. Now she was being celebrated across the entire galaxy. Finally, as the formal ceremony ended, King Thorvax approached. His scales were still gray but darker now. It was shame mixed with something else, maybe wounded pride. "Ambassador Chen," Thorvax said stiffly, "I wish to speak with you and your daughter privately." They followed the Valorian king to a smaller meeting room. Kellen came with them, his tentacles moving protectively near Sarah. Once the door closed, Thorvax began pacing. 2 of his 4 arms were clasped behind his back. The other 2 gestured as he spoke. "I may have spoken too quickly during our last meeting," Thorvax said. "Too quickly." Marcus kept his voice calm, but he felt anger inside. "I did not know the full situation," Thorvax continued. He still was not really apologizing. "If I had known Dr. Chen was engaged in such an important bonding process, I will be valuable after the birth, no matter what happens. Through continuing powerful family lines, it is our way. My medical research has helped dozens of species. That is my legacy, whether I have children or not. Others carry wisdom." Marcus knew that meant the Valorian was thinking deeply. "I insulted you," Thorvax finally said, looking directly at Marcus. "I insulted your daughter and your family. This was wrong." "I accept your acknowledgement," Marcus said carefully. "However," Thorvax continued, his scales brightening a bit, "I believe your daughter's achievement proves she is strong. Carrying a hybrid child shows exceptional strength. This changes everything. Your Majesty, I understand you are trying to make things right, but please understand this. My strength was not proven by becoming pregnant. It was proven by years of hard work, by choosing a difficult path of research, by having courage to bond with someone from another world despite all the challenges. The pregnancy is wonderful, but it is not what makes me strong. You are saying I should have respected you before, not just after. Few outside Valoria ever witnessed it. I have lived 200 years, Thorvax said slowly. I have conquered 12 star systems. I have won 1,000 battles, but I have never considered that strength could look so different from what I know. Your daughter teaches me what your weapons never could. Humanity's strength is not in copying our ways. It is in walking your own path with confidence." Thorvax clearly still struggled with ideas foreign to his culture, but it was growth. It was a beginning. "Your Majesty," Marcus said, "humanity wants partnership with Valoria, not because we want to become Valorian, but because we believe our different strengths work well together. Your military power and our adaptability, your tradition and our innovation. Not as superior and inferior, but as different peoples with different gifts to offer. I want to give a Valorian blessing for your child. It is an honor we usually reserve for offspring of warriors and leaders. Your child may not be Valorian, but they are a bridge between worlds. That is a worthy battle. I would be honored to accept. You handled that beautifully." He had said those exact words to Sarah when she was 12 years old. She had been sad because other children made fun of her for reading science books. She had remembered, and she had lived by those words ever since. Negotiations for the trade agreement began the following week. The atmosphere in the meeting rooms had completely changed. King Thorvax still showed his characteristic Valorian pride, but now he listened when Marcus spoke. More importantly, he asked questions instead of making assumptions. Sarah remained at the council station, continuing her research in the advanced medical facilities. Her pregnancy was going well. The baby was healthy and growing normally. Sarah had become quite famous among the various species. Delegates would stop her in corridors to ask about the baby and her research. One afternoon, Marcus found his daughter in the observation deck. She was watching ships come and go from the massive station. Her hand rested on her belly, which was just beginning to show the pregnancy. "Tired of being famous?" Marcus asked, sitting beside her. Sarah laughed softly. "It is overwhelming sometimes, but mostly it is beautiful. Do you know what the Kryn ambassador told me yesterday? In her culture, they have ancient legends about star children. These are beings born of two different peoples who help unite the galaxy. She thinks my baby might be fulfilling that prophecy." "I told her the same thing," Sarah said, "but I also understand what she means. Not that my baby has some magical destiny, but that children represent hope. Every child does. They are proof that we believe in the future." Then he said, "I need to tell you something about the negotiations. Great trade rates, even military protection for our outer colonies. He says it would be a symbol of our alliance, a living bridge, he called it. You and Kellen are the parents. They will need to understand both cultures, both worlds. Maybe not as much as we would like, but he is trying. And if my child can help create lasting peace between Earth and Valoria, help other species understand that cooperation is possible, is that not worth considering? When did you become wiser than me? A galaxy where a Thexian human child can also learn from Valorians and from Kryn, and from whoever else wants to teach them. Or maybe just a kid with a really complicated family tree. Kellen jokes that we will need a big chart just to explain all the relatives. Its beautiful hull caught the light of the nearby star and split it into rainbows. You know what is interesting, Sarah said. Thorvax insulted me for being Barren because he valued legacy above everything. But now he wants my child to be part of Valorian culture. He is getting exactly what he said he valued, a connection to the future, just not in the way he expected. Thorvax thought he was proving Valorian superiority by mocking human weakness. Instead, he ended up learning that strength comes in many forms. That is what I want my child to understand. There is no one right way to be strong, or valuable, or worthy. He says he has something to show us. Chen, Thorvax's scales showed calm blue. Thank you for coming. I wanted to show you something important. A branching timeline that included Sarah, Kellen, and a small glowing symbol representing their unborn child. I have ordered this to be added to the official Valorian historical record, Thorvax explained. Your child will be remembered in our history not as a curiosity, but as a turning point. The moment Valoria learned to value strength beyond conquest. I told you Valorians value legacy. We do. But I am learning that legacy is not just about family bloodlines or battles won. It is about what we leave behind, what we teach those who come after us. Your child will spend time on Valoria if you permit it, but not as a political symbol. As a student, we will teach them Valorian strength, and we will learn from them what strength means to humans and Thexians. An exchange of wisdom between our peoples. And we hope Valoria will be open to learning from them as well. Representatives from dozens of species waited anxiously outside for news. This was not just the birth of one child. It was a moment the entire galaxy would remember. Marcus paced outside the medical bay, unable to sit still. Inside, Sarah was surrounded by the best medical team ever assembled. 3 Thexian physicians, 2 human doctors, and even a Valorian healer who specialized in cross-species medicine were all working together. King Thorvax sat nearby in a specially made chair. His massive frame was surprisingly still. Over the months, an unlikely friendship had formed between the Valorian king and the human ambassador. They still disagreed on many things, but they had learned to respect each other. You are worried, Thorvax observed. It was not a question. I am terrified, Marcus admitted honestly. Cross-species births are complicated. There are so many things that could go wrong. I have seen many births on Valoria Ambassador. The ones that matter most are always frightening. It means you understand what is at stake. For a moment Marcus's heart stopped in fear. Then Kellen made the Thexian gesture of pure joy. All his tentacles extended upward, tips glowing with bright light. Healthy, Kellen said, his voice filled with wonder. Both are healthy. Come meet your grandchild, Ambassador Chen. The baby had recognizable human features, eyes, nose, mouth, but their skin had a subtle silver shine inherited from Kellen. Delicate, thin tentacles grew among human hair on the baby's head, moving gently with each breath. Dad, Sarah whispered with joy. Meet Arya. Absolutely perfect. Proof that love and determination could overcome any obstacle. After a few minutes, Marcus gave Arya back to Sarah. As he turned, he found Thorvax standing in the doorway. The Valorian king's scales showed a color Marcus had never seen before, a soft, glowing pink. Your Majesty, Marcus asked with concern, are you all right? Sarah instinctively offered to let him see Arya better. The massive alien king bent down, his scales shifting through several colors as he studied the tiny hybrid child. She has strength in her, Thorvax said softly. I can sense it. Not Valorian strength, not human or Thexian strength alone. Something new, something the galaxy needs. The Kryn ambassador brought a crystal that would supposedly help Arya connect with her multiple heritages. Dozens of other species sent gifts and messages of congratulation. But the most surprising visitor came late in the evening, when Sarah was resting and Arya slept peacefully in Kellen's tentacles. A young Valorian female entered. She was King Thorvax's youngest daughter, Princess Vexia. Unlike her father, she had spent years studying other cultures. She often disagreed with traditional Valorians who thought other species were weak. Ambassador Chen, Vexia said formally, I come with a request from my people. Not from my father, but from young Valorians who have been watching Dr. Chen's journey. We wonder if, when the child is ready, she might teach us as well as learn from us. How to be strong without conquering. How to build instead of taking. How to create something beautiful across differences instead of destroying what is different. But I believe they would be honored. When he used me as an example of human weakness. He did not understand that my choices had value, even if they were different from his expectations. If Thorvax had not challenged us so publicly, would he have learned? Would the Valorians be questioning their own beliefs? Would Vexia be asking to learn from us? She looked down at Arya, sleeping peacefully. My daughter will grow up knowing 3 worlds, Earth, Thexia, and Valoria. She will learn 3 different definitions of strength, 3 different ways of seeing the universe. And maybe she will teach others that there does not have to be just one right way to exist. Of seeing truth in multiple forms. In that moment, Marcus understood what his daughter had been teaching him all along. Strength was not about matching others' expectations. It was not about following someone else's timeline or values. Real strength was being yourself, even when others mocked you. It was building bridges instead of walls. It was creating something new and beautiful instead of simply preserving the old. His daughter, whom Thorvax had called Barren and used to insult humanity, had done more to unite the galaxy than 1,000 treaties. She had proven that love, patience, and determination could overcome any obstacle, and she had given the galaxy Arya, a tiny, perfect symbol of what was possible when different peoples chose cooperation over conflict. Welcome to the universe, little one, Marcus whispered, gently touching his granddaughter's silver-shine hand. You are going to change everything. Aliens from 100 worlds conducted business, made friends, learned from each other. And somewhere in the Valorian historical archives, a new entry was being recorded. The story of how a human ambassador's daughter, insulted and dismissed as Barren, had taught an empire the greatest lesson of all. That strength comes in many forms. And sometimes the greatest legacy is not the one you planned, but the one you create through courage, love, and the willingness to build bridges instead of walls. The galaxy was changing, one small, perfect child at a time.